chats about things. So he's a long-standing professor, now emeritus, founder, artistic director of the Festival for Creative Pianists, critically acclaimed performer / clinician, also comedian, as we just saw. Really well at that.
People tell me that as comedians go, I'm one hell of a pianist.
You've been the recipient of prestigious teaching awards and a published writer. Of course, we see these wonderful raffle prizes here. Composer, arranger, scholar, editor, and recording artist. And we're so fortunate to have you in our community. And did we press record?
Yes,
okay.
This is all recorded.
So we're good. Okay.
You got all the bad jokes.
Let's welcome Arthur.
Well, I have to teach you how to do something crucial, okay? This is how you do a round of applause.
Of course.
And I had a former colleague by the name of Professor Backwards, and he clapped like this: palk, palk, palk. Okay, I gotta stop doing this, man.
We're gonna learn a thing today.
You know, I do this at the retirement centers and what have you, and they yell out, "Don't lose the day job." Yeah, I've done that too. At the end, I'll go, okay, I'll be at the Sands all next week in Vegas.
Demolish the Sands.
All right, so if you look at your handout, page 1, all the printed text, this one right here. Yeah, that's right in front of you. It's literally right there in front of you. What are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for a graphic dispensing implementation apparatus device thingy. Okay. Yeah. Everybody repeat after me: graphic dispensing implementation apparatus device thingy.
Oh man, it's too much. I've only had 1 cup of coffee so far.
I had almost no coffee at all today. Okay, so you'll see my abstract, what this is all about. You can read through that. I've already done the obligatory introductory jokes. Okay, so I'm going to discuss, the first thing I'm going to discuss is phrasing. Now, if I had an awful long time, I would just put you to the test. But I actually, if you look at this, if you have this out at the same time, not the early version one, but this one, that's the one right there. I've marked off the phrases, and I don't know if you can see how I did that. Like, you've got a 4-bar phrase, and then another 4-bar phrase with a caveat. Now, I'm as I like to tell people, hey, I may be slow, but I'm dense. It took me much longer on this than it should have to figure this out, but measure 8 is probably the first. I promised I'd talk about plot twists, so that to me is a plot twist, that measure 8, and here's why. It is the 4th bar of a 4-bar phrase, measure 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, follow me. But it's also simultaneously the first measure of the next phrase. So 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. Forms a phrase. Now, if you need proof of that, and you see an arrow there in the left margin, look at measures 16 through 19, a little bit further down. And you will see that that is exactly the same as 8 through 11, but in a different key. And that really proves my theory that measure 8. So if you want to understand a plot twist, here's my own little composition advice. Normalize it. Make it what it would have been if you were Anton Diabelli, a lesser composer. I love to pick on him. Sorry. If you're an Anton Diabelli fan, I have to preface this by big apology. Yeah, I know. Oh, you're offensive. Oh. Anyway, so if Bach had done what he, quote unquote, should have, some nookie composition teacher corrects him and says, here's what you're supposed to do, all right, it would have been. You get it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you a different example, totally random. It doesn't reveal at all that I'm a huge Beatles fan. Okay, you remember the song from 1967 or 8? I can't remember. Oh boy.
I was only 3 years old.
Thank you for that. I'm 70, you know. All right, now that I feel really old, the song "All You Need Is Love." John Lennon wrote it. I mean, you know, they used to credit Lennon and McCartney, but oftentimes it was just one. Anyway, it goes. There's the hook. Now, did you catch the time signature in the first section?
4/4?
Oh, 5/4. Well, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then the entire hook is in 4.
Yeah.
Now, I used to think, why did he do that? That's a little nuts. So I normalized it. Okay, I'll play it. And suddenly the light bulb went off like, oh, this sounds dreadful. When I do it correctly, it's dreadful. I mean, you want to see good composition, you know, look at somebody, Anton Diabelli, who else, I don't know. Never mind, I shouldn't pick on the lesser. Yeah, they do everything correctly. Ooh, see, that was wrong right there. It's an adverb, Arthur. But if you want to see great writing, look at, say, Chopin's Sonata in B-flat minor. The first movement of that, when he gets to the recapitulation, the entire A section is missing. That is a major faux pas, like F on a composition test. But it's genius, because if he had put that in there, and I tried it, it's way too long. It doesn't work.
Wow.
You know? Anyway, so that's just a quick point I wanted to make.
Can you play the one without 3/4?
Oh, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. My train of thought got derailed. It never left the station. Enough puns. All right. One of my cowboy jazz tunes. One of my cowboy jazz tunes in here goes like this. Okay, it's in G major, although it goes through more keys than a locksmith. But it eventually, okay, in the let's see. Towards the end, major plot twist. I broke into E flat major. Anyway, I ended. I had a composition teacher who was really upset with me. So I had to rewrite it to make it end in G major. I've never played that version publicly. I did that to please her.
Absolutely.
Get an A.
I've done that myself, torn up the thing. Said,
Well,
I'll
but
try something better next time.
how many of you think that the Tchaikovsky B-flat minor concerto is a great masterwork? I mean, I would hope that all of your hands would go up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let the record show that they're asleep or something. No hands went up, but apparently his teacher trashed that. And fortunately, Tchaikovsky had the good sense to, thank you very much for your input, but I'll just keep it the way it is, thanks.
Right.
And so that is one of the...
Similar stories too from his professors. Prokofiev.
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely.
Well, probably
This makes no
Debussy,
sense.
right?
Okay, I had a really witty teacher who taught Prokofiev in a kind of unique way, but I think it works, you know. And he said something like, compositionally, Prokofiev is just regular tonal music with a lot of wrong notes.
Yeah.
It's not that far off the mark.
far.
It really isn't.
No.
I played number 7 for my doctoral recital.
Oh, okay.
And the interpretation is absolutely not what Prokofiev would have done.
Oh.
Which brings up, I guess, a little side note. I'll get back to this, I promise. But in performance practice circles, it's often fashionable, not always, to say, you know, the composer's intentions. We hear that all the time. Well, I'm a great believer that we should investigate that. It should be part of the equation. It should nourish what I do. but it should not be a straitjacket. And the first time I had that sort of piano fall on me, you might say, I wrote a piece for saxophone and piano, kind of jazzy, years ago in my wayward youth, and it was an accident. I was trying to write for something for French horn. I was about to throw it out, and my roommate who plays both sax and clarinet, he looked at it, he said, "Oh, that would work on sax." "Thank you, Andy." Anyway, so it was a total accident. The whole piece was a total accident. And I eventually played it at University of Texas at Austin. I asked their professor of saxophone, "Would you play it with me?" He said, "Yes." And then I said, "It's jazzy." He said, "No, I don't do jazz." Okay, I mean, I know that there are these unicellular creatures in academia who do only one thing and still get paid full time, but I'd never really encountered anything like that. So I played it with a graduate student, and the rehearsals were going great, and on the last page, it's indicated to go a little bit slower, just a little slower. And he interrupts me, Jim, and he says, "Dr. Houle, with all due respect, I know you wrote it, but I think it should go a whole lot slower there. You know, it would feel better." No. And we went at it back and forth, and finally I got rather testy. It was like, "Ugh, me, professor, you not. Ugh, I wrote it, you didn't. You know, I did all this." Well, you probably know where this is going. But I slept on it, and I don't know, a day or two, 3, I forget. I went up to him, and I was eating humble pie. I just said, "You know what? Darn if you're not right."
Wow. Good thing you had an open mind.
So,
Well, I mean, an open mind shouldn't mean your brains fall out, but you're right, yeah. And I had a second experience, sort of like that. I wrote a 3-movement romantic suite, very much in the style of Brahms, Mendelssohn, Chopin, all mixed up in a vat, you know, whatever. And some of me, even a little hint of jazz in there. And I played it for my teacher, Leonard Shore, at New England Conservatory. And at first he balked. "You're gonna play this for me? I mean, you wrote this. What do you need my, you know?" I said, "Pretend I didn't write it. Just give me a lesson on this piece, interpretation."
yeah, there you go.
He did proffer a couple of suggestions he couldn't resist compositionally. One of them I accepted, the other one I vetoed. I figured that was my right.
For sure.
But the experience left me again feeling like I walked out almost shaking. I said to one of my classmates, I said, "How does he know what I want in this piece more than I do? And I wrote it."
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, well, it isn't. You know, Schnabel, my teacher's teacher, Arthur Schnabel, that was my teacher's teacher, and that lineage goes right to Beethoven if you know the whole thread. Yeah, okay, these guys are sharp, all right. He was once asked, or maybe, no, it was Leonard Shore, who was once asked, if you see something, you're very analytical, very Schenkerian, you know, Heinrich Schenker. If you see something in, say, Chopin that even Chopin didn't see, is it valid? He did not hesitate. Of course. The piece transcends the composer. And I went, holy, you know what? Because I thought that, I mean, that's quite the epiphany.
Yeah.
And not everybody accepts that, and that's okay. I'm not gonna, you know, yeah, it's still going. So,
Obvious validity to it, because when you listen to different pianists, you know who they are, because their personality's gonna come through, and that's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah.
well, and by the way, that's part of authentic. I mean, if you read After the Golden Age by Kenneth Hamilton, I mean, I recommend that book highly, by the way. After the Golden Age, Kenneth Hamilton, just like it sounds, absolute must read. It documents authentic, very creative traditions that we had, that a lot of which has fallen by the wayside. Yeah, After the Golden Age by Kenneth Hamilton. Absolutely incredible read. So I'm going to propose all kinds of wacky, radical things with this little Bach prelude, which I have tremendous appreciation for. Whatever I may not get to today, it's all in the notes, so you can always find it anyway. So, but I hope to get to as much as I can. All right. So that be natural in the bass. By the way, please, your students inevitably are going to do this. It's a physical thing. Please cure them of that. Do whatever is necessary. Cattle prod, whatever it takes. Okay, or you know, get rough with them if you have to.
Vowel rod.
We're going to hell. That's it. We're going to hell. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I already made the third point. Okay. I find it intriguing that this piece, apart from the rather melodic ending, which is new. You don't find that in the early version. I mean, there's no melody. Either everything's a melody or there's no melody, or maybe, now Heinrich Schenker might agree with this, although the so-called Erlinia refers to, generally a melody in the right hand. So I don't know if I could call the bass an Erlinia, but I want to. By the way, I call it measure A, to backtrack a little bit, an elision measure, because an elision is a ending at a start. So I don't know if that's an authentic term. I don't care. I just made it up.
Yeah.
So that's my term. I own it. Okay. So now look at this, and look at the notes that I've circled in the bass, and you'll notice. Guess what? How complicated this is. The essence of great music, you'll find, and a lot of great art, whether it's theater, movie, you name it, is balancing simplicity with just enough complexity. Beethoven, for all the complexity, he used to write it in margins when he was composing. Simplify. So him and Thoreau would have gotten along fine. You'll notice it's complicated as heck.
Wow.
And he's used that same basic design on other pieces, so scope it out, you'll see. Of course, with some detours here and there, all right, which make, of course, a lot more interesting. So, moving along, what else did I have on my list of...
I love playing the chords solid, like hearing all the harmonies.
Yes, I made a point of that somewhere, that, please have them, I don't give my students permission. Even if they can do it, I don't care. I had a student recently who just would not cooperate with this. I had to drop him. It's just too difficult. Part of the deal is you sometimes have to follow directions, and trust that maybe I know something. Now, if they can do that, they can memorize it much more easily.
Totally.
There's a fighting chance that just maybe it might be musical.
Yeah. They'll know where the voice is going.
It might even be art. By the way, Leonard Shure used to say famously, he had a deep German voice. The floor used to shake. It's very musical, but it's not music. Anyway, so I want you to look at the backside of the. Wait a minute. On your. I think it's there. Yeah, on the backside of this, there's this little graph.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't want to make an absolute rule out of this.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, but at least this is organic. The reason I love to teach Bach, you have to think. Unless, of course, you just use some drunken editor's markings and just follow them blindlessly. Okay. Yeah. I had a teacher who used to say that all the time, drunken editor. She used to disagree with everything, She taught me to think. That was Gladys Ondrejek.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, for example, in this opening phrase, I could play it, if I was to follow that, I could play it literally the way I think it looks. But in my opinion,
That's how I like that.
Yes.
Perfection.
yeah, I mean, who likes the first one better? The second chord.
You gotta get to the fullness of the dissonance. And then
Tension,
you
resolution.
That's right.
Yeah.
But some would argue that maybe the second chord is a little more tense.
Sure.
It's a little higher. I mean, so I'm just saying,
higher.
do either.
Let's do something.
Leonard Shure could get often very pedantic in his teaching. I remember once in Schubert, this one. And I sat there in shock. You're giving us two choices? Two whole choices? Whoa! It was a first, I think. Anyway, so he was very grounded, and I think but I didn't always agree. I like the approach because I guess I have an analytical mind like this. So it's no question. So I think he argued, two there, two there, two there, famously. But then I thought later, that shows the Schenkerianness of it, and it still works, I think. You know, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this may be about this particular piece primarily, but it's kind of universal, and it doesn't just apply to piano either, for that matter. You know, it's just music. I mean, I could have a whole long discussion about slurs. I mean, slurs are fascinating to me, but that's I better get through this before I can any more. All right, so measure 19. Look at that measure now. So he has completed his downward scale, and now you could probably hear this, but I bring out all the basses to varying degrees because that's the melody, if there's a melody. So people generally play this top heavy, you know, and just generally that doesn't work as well to me. Doesn't sound as pleasant.
That's what.
So he could have ended the entire.
Because I tend to have them bring out just that first note.
Yeah.
You know, and not the other stuff.
You don't even need to be here. You can just pass and walk out right now. Okay, it's been nice knowing you. I love this guy already. All right, so you can see that he could have ended the piece right here, you know, on measure 19.
Yeah, it's interesting sometimes if you could play, you do that sometimes on pieces, and I'll play it and say, okay, now it could have ended here. How is that? And then, you know, you leave off.
I hate TV programs that don't have an epilogue, because I feel like it's wrong. It just should have an epilogue, which is analogous to a coda. You'll notice that almost all tonal music, it doesn't matter what genre even, or instrument, it's like one of my teachers said wittily, the piece ends and then there's still more. Now that might be a codetta or a coda.
Yeah.
I mean, in the case of, say, you know, the Schubert, help me out here, fantasy. Oh man, check out the ending of the first movement of that. Holy cow. I mean, it would make Beethoven proud. You know, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, the first movement. Oh, my God, it's going to end now. You got to listen to Peter Schickli narrating it.
I thought you had Schickli referenced right here, but it doesn't say it's a Schickli.
I should have.
Why are you referencing Schickli?
Yeah. Anyway. So I think you get that. I'm not going to belabor that point. Okay. So that dominant pedal point, I just love that.
Yeah.
And I think, by the way I play this is a little bit more. Hi there.
Yay!
Give her the handouts.
Yeah, we'll give you a raffle ticket too.
I'm recording this so you can always review it later. And I apologize for this being in the way. It's the only way to get the iPad there.
What's your name again?
Irina.
Oh, Irina. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Sorry. Brain fog. I play brain fog. So the way I play this is a little more nuanced than this, than the backside. You know that's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, for example, so when we get to the pedal point at measure, where does that pedal point start? Measure 24. So there's in general a crescendo in my opinion, and the fellow on the backside of this, but you've got tension resolution sort of resolving, although not really to there. So suspension, resolution, but not really, and then. Now that's a real major plot twist. I love this chord. I love juxtaposing it against that wrong note in the bass, you know. I say wrong note in air quotes, of course. Now, I recommend a slight ritardando there.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a fake out. It's a feint, but not this kind of feint. The other kind with the EINT, you know, in boxing. You think you're going to end, but you don't. I mean, there's so many places where he could have ended, but he didn't. He could have ended, you know, way earlier, like I just mentioned, and then he could have not gone through that whole detour. He could have done just this. He could have done, you know, and then he's got one more surprise there. And as of right here, you still think he's going to end, and he's got that blue note again. I'm sorry, it just sounds bluesy to me. What can I say? You know, there probably is not a jazz chord invented that doesn't show up in Bach's Chromatic Fantasy. I challenge you to find any jazz chord that doesn't show up somewhere in that piece. I love it. What? You're giving me a sneak?
No, that's so true.
Oh, good, okay. That face,
No, it's not
that face was a little bit inscrutable. You know, I had one,
You're saying, I understand.
and I hear what you're seeing. But, okay. I had a teacher once who said in dead earnestness, I don't like jazz. And I had so many problems with that. One is, wait a minute, explain to me, you like Ravel, but you don't like jazz. Okay, my head is hurting. And then I said, why? He said, well, it's all music just out of tune. Anyway, I mean, to me, there's just no hope for him, you know.
There should be a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
It does have our combos, the small combos, I have a hard time.
And jazz has so many styles within it.
Yes.
True.
Right.
Well, Ravel and Gershwin were such good friends, you know. I mean, by the way,
And so is Bach.
check out my post on YouTube of the Ravel Prelude in A minor but Dorian mode. You know that piece? You know, I'm not doing a pedal, but
Which one?
Ravel's Prelude in A minor, and just put my name, Arthur Joseph Houle, and put that on YouTube. Guaranteed you'll find it. I maxed out the write-up on that because I give the whole history. It's a lesson unto itself.
Wow.
And I have the most hits on that of any of my. It's I don't know. It's in the thought. It went platinum. I don't know why. It's not even my best performance, but I inserted a phony repeat towards the end, so I have an excuse to improvise a little bit on it. Do you know he wrote it basically as a sight reading exam for the Paris Conservatory? Yeah, and one woman. It's all on there. Anyway, so I also have a citation somewhere in the notes for my presentation for MTNA years ago. I'm amazed teachers didn't just walk out, you know, sacrilege, because I talked about Bach, and I proposed that maybe, you know, given his propensity for improvisation here, follow the basic whatever, but and maybe even slip in that G major 7th measure that shows up only in the early version. Okay, so now you have to go to this page. That is the third page of the handout. Yeah, that one right there. You have it. Yep, that one right there. Yeah, the flip side has information about a keyboard. I'm willing to let go pretty cheap because I've upgraded. Anyway, so look at the early version. This is fascinating to me. You really want to get inside a composer's brain. Check out multiple versions of the same piece. You can do that for Mozart. There's another version of that. I don't know if I'll tell you about it if you're interested. Write to me, I can give you all the information.
Okay.
There's also two versions. This is why I love this edition. The Willett Palmer edition of the Bach, the Ill-Tempered Clavicle, Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 1. I should stop doing that sort of thing. I malaprop so much I can't even say anything straight. As a matter of fact, the only reason I say anything straight is I malapropped it twice and it's reverted back to being normal again. Okay, so he's got, for example, after the standard version of the Prelude number 10, E minor, myself. I try to play. I haven't practiced in a while, that one. But the early version of it has no melody. I mean, it's just this.
How early is that relative to the?
I don't know what the time difference is. It might be in there somewhere. But I mean, to me, that's fascinating. So I think this relates to our Prelude in C in this way. There are, again, a certain ilk of purist that would look at the Charles Gounod Ave Maria.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, you know? I'm going to try to fake it, you know, in the wrong key too, I suppose, relative to how he wrote it. Okay? I don't take any offense to that whatsoever. I think it's absolutely analogous to what you see in Bach himself, in what he does. Also, this idea that probably Bach came up with the chords first and then patternized it. I can't remember, but I remember years ago, one of Bach's sons wrote a similar textured piece, all just broken harmonies, and the autograph has only chords written out, which I found kind of fascinating, which sort of, yeah, very interesting. Anyway, and speaking of multiple versions, I was mentioning to you, 1834, Chopin writes the first version, 1835 is the later version, which I think is a better piece. It's better generally, although a few little tidbits I like, so I mix and match. Anyway, but he has like forks going to the ends of the measure in the revised version. See, I'm going to probably butcher it. Accent, which is absent in the first, but it makes sense because it moves the phrase forward.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little brilliant touches. Even the way he did, you know, anyway, that's a whole other lecture. I'm going to get back on track.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm on page 2 of these notes. So flip side of these notes. There you go. You got it. Yeah. Do I have it? There we go. So I mentioned that chart. That charts out suggested dynamic. Again, I don't want to make a rule out of anything. You know, Arthur Rubinstein, the way he plays, oh gosh. Knowing what I know, I'm pretty certain that pretty much every single ornament that's in that piece Rubinstein does contrary to Chopin's intentions. Rubinstein was such a consummate artist, he listened to singers all the time, like Chopin did, that asked me if I care. I love that recording. As a matter of fact, I'd rather listen to him play it wrong than somebody play it right, but in a very sterile way with no real depth. I'm glad I'm getting some agreement here. It's a tough concept to wrap your head around, but like Jan Eck here, who's the editor of a great Chopin edition, the Universal, with the orange cover. I think unsurpassed of the Nocturnes. Yeah, I should have mentioned the Nocturnes. Anyway, so that's what I always do when I preface. I just walk out and say, I'm going to play the D flat and see if anybody gets me. Anyway, Jan Eck here does everything correctly and kind of leaves me a little bit flat. Mm-hmm. I don't mean flat like that kind of flat. But anyway. Wow, this is an amazing, and you guys are very astute. So pedaling, that's of course a source of incredible controversy. Here's my thinking. If you pedal, and you certainly don't have to, you can do finger pedal, and there are still 2 ways you can do that. You can finger pedal exactly the way Bach indicated, which is only the first two notes. Yeah. Or you could finger pedal all of them, figuring, maybe it's just saving ink and time. Because we don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, you know. But without overholding this, hopefully, at the next measure, especially when it does this. And you hear that all the time, so they have to.
Which note are you holding?
Well, I'm holding all of them as long as I can,
Oh, I see.
with the caveat that when I get to something like this, be careful. Unless you want that.
Are you saying to hold over or not hold over?
No, please don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
But you're saying it's an option. If you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to finger pedal.
Yeah, so you got two options right there. Plus, now, the whole issue of the piano. Okay, here's some shockers. The piano was coming around, let's just say, in the 1710s-ish, okay? It's hard to put a definite, number to that. Different places, different circumstances, etc. Bach apparently tried out an early prototype like that, and this story, of course, gets lots of shrift, and wasn't too crazy about it. So people hear that, and I call this freeze-dried musicology, by the way. They'll hear that one story, take it completely out of context. That's it, you don't pedal in Bach, doggone it, just don't. Don't go there. Stop it right now, okay? Well, here's the shocker, and this was Professor Raina Barol-Schaffenberg, who taught at Arizona State, I believe, for many years. She revealed this in one of her lectures. I still haven't confirmed this, but I'm sure she's right. She was too credible not to. Late in Bach's life, he not only was embracing the piano, he was selling them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard that.
Which doesn't shock me at all. Okay, and by the way, yes, the harpsichord was the dominant instrument, perhaps, but he probably preferred the clavichord, which is highly expressive. It could even get a subtle vibrato.
Yeah.
It's the only keyboard instrument that does that. And he had a pedal harpsichord, which we know because if you look at the preludes and fugues, there are some of them that are literally pretty much unplayable unless you use sophisticated middle pedal techniques or have a pedal harpsichord. Okay.
So the pedal harpsichord works the same way as the sostenido?
It's a double manual with an extra row of keys down here like an organ, but it's a harpsichord. It's a pedal harpsichord.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what else can I say about that? So dynamics. Are terrace dynamics a good thing? Sure. Like vanilla is an option if you get an ice cream.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. However, I don't want to eat vanilla all the time.
I never get vanilla.
Yeah. I prefer French vanilla a little bit, but whatever. Maybe it's my French background. Anyway, okay. So here's what I'm going to say about pedaling. Let me go back to Mozart for a second. 1777 was the first time Mozart witnessed the pedal mechanism, which of course was a knee lever thing. Okay, it wasn't down here yet. Okay. Guess what? He wrote a letter to a friend expressing, wow, this is awesome. I think we have to reckon with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the D minor
Fantasy.
fantasy, thank you, I was looking for the right word. You don't have to, you could do, again, same choices, finger pedal, partial finger pedal, sometimes here, maybe not here, but there, whatever. But I don't think he would have been offended by that at all, judging from that story. And even if he was, well, he's still dead. I don't know. I mean, Mendelssohn and Clara Schumann, they were a little out of sync with their times, and they weren't too crazy about doing classical improvisation, especially with their own music. Well, I had a student years ago in my Festival for Creative Pianists, the G minor concerto, famous concerto. The place where there would have been, some people would say should have been, a cadenza in the first movement, but there isn't, she inserted one. and the judges loved it. I think she won either first or second prize. And I mean, the judges still talk about that like it's legend. Okay? But I mean, it depends again on your perspective. I totally respect if somebody says, look, Mendelssohn doesn't give you permission. You really should say a prayer. And I say, well, I've done that. You know, what can I say? I'm still going to do it. And you know, memorization too. I mean, Clara Schumann was one of the first to play by memory. The critics panned her. How dare you not have disrespect the composer so much that you don't have his music in front of you. Oh, offensive. Of course not. When Franz Liszt does it later, he's a guy, so let's everybody do it. That's it. Now it's a new rule. Everybody must memorize, even though you don't do it in chamber music.
Yeah.
Anyway, that, again, a whole other topic that I have highly nuanced opinions about. Okay, let me see what I have and have not covered here. Early version. So check out, have in front of you if you can, that early version and the later version. And I think there might be like a 2-year spread, I'm not sure exactly. I think I even put the dates on them, but 1722 and circa 1720 for the earlier version. So yeah, I was right. A couple of years-ish, according to the scallops. Master malapropers. Okay, so notice that measures 1 through 11 are absolutely identical. No difference whatsoever. Measure 12, wow, talk about your plot twist, and I wrote it down, G major 7th. This measure simply does not show up in the revised version. Isn't that amazing?
Measure 12?
That is Bach.
On this version.
No, that's the later version.
Oh,
You have it.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, you got it. All right.
Sparkly. Wow.
So I think one of the reasons why he revised this is, well, he wanted to introduce the cadenza at the end, I'm sure. But the other thing is, I mean, they're just more plot twists. But I was looking at the phrasing, and feel free to disagree if I got this wrong. But measure 12 is measure 1 of a phrase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but that doesn't resolve. If I call that 4 and end there, and this is 1, it doesn't seem right to me. So we've got a 5-bar phrase, which really doesn't show up in the final version. And then we've got so we've got another elision measure, that measure 20, I believe. Am I reading that right? Yeah, okay. And then the pedal point starts measure 23. No, sorry. That voicing never shows up in the final version. We never get that. Could have ended there. Well, no, I'd have to have done that. Never mind. And then we get that suspension, and then, oh man, no epilogue? Dang. See, it's very unsatisfying. However, pedagogically, it's definitely easier. So if you've got a student who's not quite ready for the other version, you know, you might still assign it. Or if they're really sophisticated, have them do it like me and mix and match.
Right.
And all, you know, and other sacrilegious thoughts. Heresy, garlic cross. All right, let's see, what else did I write down here? I want to make sure I got the big things first. The dominant pedal palm character shows that while the early version is beautiful, the final version is clearly superior and more satisfying. Okay, so if you want to find a free public domain download of the early version, I have a link there. I think somewhere else I have a link to the final version as well.
Okay.
And that edition you brought, if you want to hold it up,
Sure.
is a reproduction of the Bach Gesellschaft. And that is a reproduction, and it's uncopyrighted. You know, I appreciate that people are sensitive to copyrights in various things,
Yeah.
but you have to nuance that, because if a student shows up with something that's clearly uncopyrighted, public domain, and there's a rule that says that they can't do that, that seems a little crazy.
Right.
But it happens because people aren't quite up to speed on how that all works.
Right.
Yeah, that addition is very crammed,
It's
in
what?
my opinion.
Crammed in, yeah.
Well, I mean, there is typography too, and I do apologize for the sake of brevity. When you look at it online, you know, because I sent everybody this. I mean, if you have your text, you can blow it up and read it a lot more comfortably. So I apologize. Yeah, I'm sensitive to that myself. I mean, my eyesight has gone through various stages, shall we say. Okay, so more, I have back to my notes here. More discussion of the Prelude C can be found on my YouTube post. I thought I invented this phrase Bach to the future, but apparently it's out there. Anyway, so you can try that link. See, that's the advantage of having it electronically, because typing that all in, it's going to take you about a year. Okay, then I also discussed the Bach's partition, number 1.
I'd love to know more about that.
You know, that malaprop does actually makes a certain sense if you understand the form. Anyway, never mind. Partita, partition. I'm going to go on. I'll let you mull that over. Okay, and I mentioned about Charles Gounod. I mentioned that earlier. You can read that. That extra measure is fascinating. I tracked that down. It's probably, as I indicated here, it originated by a fellow, Carl Schwenke. I can't even pronounce that. You'll see that listed in here in the margin. But you find it also famously in Czerny's edition. Okay, it does definitely introduce like a 5-bar measure, but it also facilitates Gounod's beautiful melody. So who am I to criticize? You know. Okay, before we run out of
Time for
time.
questions?
Yeah, I do want to do that too.
Okay.
But how about if we have a quick raffle?
You're excited.
We're going to have a quick raffle. Okay. And I have to do a drum roll for this, so I'm going to do a... Oh no, this is better. Hold on. Oh, wait. Did I get hers as well? Do I have one for everybody?
Yeah, I use everybody.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, if nobody
Okay.
else wins, we'll notice you.
Here's the drum roll. No, never mind. I know it's all Greek to you, right? Ha ha ha. Okay, I'm going to randomize
Then you'll
this.
have your choice of one of those 3.
Yeah, I'll let you come up and check out, choice of one of these 3.
I know.
What you looking for?
My raffle ticket.
What?
Yeah.
Well, if nobody else screams, then we'll know it's you.
That's what somebody said.
We'll know it's you. All right? Okay.
There it is.
All right. This is how this works. I'm going to read one number at a time. If you have that number, you yell out yay. When inevitably that number doesn't show up, you yell out boo.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? I'm going to get very unpopular around the 4th number.
Yeah.
All right, 2.
Yay.
Have you had your Geritol? That wasn't very loud. Okay, 3.
Yay!
That was so much better. 5.
Yay.
Ooh. 7.
Yay.
You're all still with me? 9.
Yay!
Did I hear a boo? No boos at all? Okay, the last number, this is it. 2.
Yay.
That's you? Get up here. Get up here.
That's the first one of my
All
life.
right, okay. Never won anything?
Never,
Well,
ever.
that was you. All right, so this is my personal edition of the Clementi Sonatinas, a product of about 30 years of research. You'll see it's highly unique, lots of copious notes on performance practice. I cross-correlate, that's me a long time ago.
Cross-pollinate.
It's got,
When
it's
it
got his
came out.
mustache.
That's what chemo does, anyway.
Oh.
No, I'm good.
I forgot
I'm in
about that.
remission. Or
Oh, right, thank you.
Seymour Bernstein's book, or my Cowboy Jazz.
Oh, you mean I have to pick?
You have to pick one.
Oh, my
Or
goodness.
you can buy more.
You can buy the others later. I mean, we can talk about that if you
Yeah.
prefer. Okay. Okay, I should open it up to questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Questions, tomatoes, time delayed bombs. I mean,
So I guess with Bach pedaling, would you do more of just the top half?
Okay, my personal choice, okay, and and this is not like a right thing and a wrong thing, okay? Please take it.
Okay.
I kind of like, first of all, you know, Benjamin Zander, you know that name? Conductor of the Boston Philharmonic, author, cellist, pianist, I mean, just all over the map, taught at NEC for many, many years. An incredible guy. Great music making or interpretation is the reduction of impulses. I've never heard a less poetic definition.
Say it again, please.
The reduction of impulses. Here's what he meant. All right, this is the Moonlight Sonata played as badly as possible. Okay, feeling it in 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and conducting it that way. Okay, here's slightly better. But it's still not what he wrote, because he has cut time. Everybody misses the little fine print. So. I screwed it up. Anyway, I should do it the way Victor Borge does it. You know how he does it? He gets the ear and he goes.
Yes.
Which young people do not get. You got that? You got that night and day, Cole Porter? You actually got the reference? I'm impressed. Wow, a little bit. Or maybe she's just laughing to be polite. Could be.
So do you think it's mostly like the top half in Bach, or just your?
Well, okay. So first issue: if you pedal, and that's an if, I would not recommend doing 2 pedals per bar because it's too beady.
Yeah.
And that business of bringing out the bass, but to different degrees. So the first one, a little bit more than the second, and 1 pedal. I get a sense of oneness.
Yeah.
Very Eastern philosophy, you know. Oops, sorry. You know, you get the feeling that this is one idea, okay? You know, I love Glenn Gould's playing sometimes. Sometimes, but you know, I'm thinking of the symphonic etudes of Schumann. Could we possibly have more beats? Anyway, never mind. I know that's very opinionated.
Speaking of Bernstein, I think he had a lot of opinions about Glenn Gould. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when you watch the YouTube videos.
Did you read his
he's
book?
like,
Have you read his
"There's no
book?
music there."
Have you read his book, Monsters and Angels?
No.
It's a tell-all book.
Oh, really?
I mean, it'll burn your fingers.
Wow.
I mean, if you want the low-down, like salacious dope on everybody famous that you can think of,
Oh, no.
it's in that book. I don't know how he was sued by 50 million people.
I like my halos around everybody, you know.
No, don't read the book. Do not read that book. No. It's like finding out too much about John Lennon. I love the Beatles, but he was complex. Shall we just leave it at that? You know.
I did enjoy a great pianist from Mozart to the present, who was the
Oh, yeah.
New York editor, New York.
Harold
Harold
not Schoenberg.
Not Schoenberg.
Something.
Harold.
You're not helping me. I'm the one with brain fog here.
Here, I have a phone. This is different.
To memorize anything, we've got phones.
Okay. Anyway, all right. I did the raffle.
Any other questions?
So I'd like to hear the additional measure that Sharon.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there. I have it. It's reproduced right there. So it would come in between. I gotta find the right one here. Hold on. Measure 23.
What measure?
So yeah, okay. I'm gonna play at measure 20, and then pay attention to between measures 22 and 23 is the extra measure that you find in the Czerny edition. Okay? So. I'm sorry. Let me do it again. I mean,
It fits in with the chromaticism. 'Cause
yeah, I mean, look, I would not vomit if somebody played that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
So I learned that version when I was little.
those editions were very popular, and they still
And then
are.
I don't see it when I moved here. So I, oh my gosh, I've been playing all wrong all my life. You know, like,
Well,
how did I come up with that measure? You know? But now, okay.
I don't use words like wrong anymore. It's too strong, but I know what you mean. You know, I mean that could be an entire presentation just discussing that one measure, the pros and cons of doing it. So anyway, with regard to pedaling, if you pedal by the measure pretty much, be careful of a measure like this. You really have to decide if you like that. Okay? If this is an impressionistic bridge a little too far.
Right.
But before you dismiss it entirely, listen to this. Would you believe those are Clementi's pedals that he added later?
Wow.
Through the scale.
Wow.
Now get this, I had a student play from this edition where it's all painstakingly proven and authenticated right in front for the judge to see. Okay, you ready for this? Student played it very well. Also didn't play it badly, because this would be badly to me. You know, bringing out the bass too much. Okay, and you might even want to do a half pedal. You get the same effect, and it simulates the pedals of Clementi's day. Okay, anyway, played it well, and she got trashed for it.
Yeah.
It's just preconceptions on the part of the
Right.
judge.
I see that stuff.
Oh, if you ever want to have me give a presentation on adjudicating, I'd be happy to.
Oh, yeah, let's do
But
it.
because it's a complex topic, and I mean,
I think that would be great.
you know,
For all professors that do the Sonatina Festival to come to it.
it mirrors a little bit my experience with writing reviews for some of the. I mean, Christian Zimmerman. I've reviewed some of the most famous pianists on earth. And for example, Christian Zimmerman, 1999, he issued the 2 Chopin concertos. And in my opinion, I mean, I just ran out of superlatives. I just loved it. That said, I did point out, but very respectfully pointed out, that here's where Zimmerman differed with what we know Chopin did. That said, I think it still works. I mean, that's the way to adjudicate, that's the way to, but you know, you have, really truly great adjudicators are about as rare as truly great reviewers throughout history, as a matter of fact, because it just involves so much. And the more I learn, you know, when I first started exploring issues with Chopin, what's that saying? A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I was very dangerous at this time. This is around 1994. I gave a presentation. Guess who was in the audience, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't recognize her by sight? Sandra Rosenblum, the great scholar. Yeah. Now, I have to just genuflect to this woman, because she helped me with this edition countless ways, over the phone and through emails. She could have, in the middle of my lecture, just said something like, "Young man, would you please take a seat and let me take over? Because, you know, you're halfway there, but really not, so just shut up, you know." But she was incredibly gracious. She shook my hands, and this was the start of a lifelong friendship. I'm still in touch with her. She's like 120, I don't know, but I think she's still alive. And I remember calling her to apologize. I basically said, "Holy cow, if I had known it was you, I mean, I just would have sat down, you know," and she was very flattered. She said, no, you did fine, you know. It says, anyway, she's a great lady, great lady. I have just a few quick things I want to look at here. Okay, so I made the point of balancing simplicity with just the right amount of complexity as one of the secret ingredients to great art, just in general. And I'll give you a wonderful example of that. Who knows this Beatles tune? Now, they attributed it to the Beatles, but on the White Album, a lot of times it was just one or two or three of them and not all four of them. This is actually just John Lennon. And this is kind of his answer to Paul McCartney's Yesterday. The lyrics to Yesterday refer to Paul's mother, who died when she was very young. It gives a whole different poignancy if you understand that, yeah. And this one's called Julia. That was John Lennon's mother. And it goes something like this. Simulate, the guitar. It's just him double tracking. Two voices, two guitars, but all John Lennon. Gorgeous tune. Now imagine, this is almost Morse code. I mean, this is like more limited than Ringo Starr's vocal range, okay? I thought one or two might get that little reference. Anyway, in fairness, he really never wanted to sing. They forced him into like one song per album, basically. He didn't want to sing, so I can't trash him too much, okay? And I actually admire his drumming for the very reason that, he doesn't Buddy Rich everything gratuitously when it's not required, and it works better. But imagine if John Lennon had written something really horrible like this. So, obviously, the simple aspect is the melody. The more complex, interesting part of it are, first of all, the lyrics are beautiful, very poetic, and an ode to his mom, but also not only the harmonies, but the unexpected not root positions. He'll do something like, that's F sharp minor, but with C sharp at the bass. He's just like, he was a master. You just name any John Lennon or primarily written John Lennon tune, and Day Tripper, which has very dirty lyrics, by the way. Anyway, it should be rated like R, but let's put that aside. Not suitable for young ears. Now you could swear for quite a while that this is going to be a blues progression.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then 2/7. And then another time later, they harmonize in parallel fifths.
Oh, yeah.
What a no-no. I think they would have gotten along very well with Berlioz. Berlioz's secret to his great writing is he didn't study too much. Just enough, but not too much. I think the fact that those guys mostly were not, they still can't write music literally, and they can't even read music. None of them, none of the four Beatles read or write music. They did okay. They're like poster children for not going to school. It's like, ugh, I don't know how to process that. Anyway, well, I got into so much trouble playing, let's just say, that kind of music when I was a kid. But you know what? That was my ear training.
Yeah.
Because my brother and I, we had this competition. Let's see who's going to figure out the next Beatle tune first. Okay, and he usually won, but later on I caught up. So he would tell me things like, well, get the melody first. So I'd be like, okay. What's next? Oh, listen to Paul McCartney. What does he do? Usually bass. Oh, okay. And then, what's next? Well, rhythm guitar, that's usually John, so let's see. And maybe on piano you could make a boogie-woogie out of it. You get the idea. But I did that as part of my upbringing. So when I got to formal college, sight screaming and rhythmic mutation and all those kind of things. I remember my first day of class, Jackie, I think Charette was She played some weird chord, I don't know, something like that at the piano. She was just diddling around. And I wrote the chord out by ear. And she walks over and she looks at my, what are you doing here? Just go away. And then for another class, what was it? I guess theory. Paul Gay was the teacher, and he explained his attendance policy. And it goes like this. If you miss one day, I'll come down with like a ton of bricks. Now, Arthur, he shows up roughly every other Friday. It's okay, because he knows all this stuff already. That did not make me friends with everybody else in class, by the way. It's like, don't do me any favors, shut up. Anyway, oh, okay.
That story reminds me of when I was in seminary. I went to Bachelor's Theological Seminary. I studied with Marie Simpson there. That's the reason I went there.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went there because I was like, he's teaching there, so I went and studied with him. And we had these seminars that we would do in the middle of the semesters. And there was a fella in one of we were just going through all the little classes that we had, and there was a guy who was going to give electronic music talk, you know. But before class, he started playing chords and said, name this chord. And he would play crazy stuff, you know. And there was a guy that he would just name what that chord was. I mean, that's an E. That's an E major with flat 11.
Yeah.
You know, he would name them as we went through it, and everybody's like, and then when we were sight reading through a brand new piece that one of the professors had written, and he was singing everything perfectly. We were like, okay, who are you? We finally said, who are you? He wrote Hanna-Barbera music for the cartoons.
Oh my Lord! Wow!
And then he got saved, he accepted Christ, and then he went into the music ministry, and he was running a church music program in Colorado.
Wow!
Yeah, and we were just like, wow.
You know, before I forget, I'd like to make a statement about given my health situation, which is much improved, and like I say, my cancer is in remission, so I don't need anybody's pity, but I do have issues. I don't think I can handle taking anybody like, okay, you're my student primarily, okay, but what I'd like to do, and I hope that this works, I think with the right kind of teachers, and I have a feeling, you know, this is indicative, I hope, is kind of consulting work, you might say, like come over to my place and have a session on a particular piece or a genre, or let's say hypothetically a teacher teaches only classical, but the students want to learn other styles and the teacher's okay with that. They might send to me and I'll introduce the basics of pop jazz, or vice versa, somebody teaching only that and classical end of things is getting a little bit neglected. Or another one of my favorite topics, this is not my brag, by the way, I'm bragging on behalf of one teacher in particular. My teacher before college was absolutely off the charts extraordinary. Gladys Ondrechek, you'll never hear of her except what I wrote as a tribute online if you can dish it out. In the space of 2 or 3 years before college, I can honestly say that she gave me more technique than I've ever seen in any student I've ever had. And that means a lot because I've taught graduate students who are getting doctorates at University of Texas, for example, who literally had as many degrees as me, and I'm younger than them, and I'm standing in front of them like, yikes. And yet I would say things like this, who can come up to the piano, and it related to the things we were studying, chamber music, as I was professor of accompanying in chamber music, specifically. Play me a rapid fire scale, but all staccato.
You know what?
A rapid fire scale, but all staccato.
Oh, all staccato.
Yeah, so something like. Now that's a very specific, what I like to call spider fingers technique. Okay, it's pretty much very localized from here. It's the only way to do it. You try to do it from here, you're gonna look like a jackhammer and require some kind of physical therapy, even if you can pull it off. And so, I mean, the whole issue of technique, I think, and this even relates to the whole blocking thing. I forgot to quote this. You'll recognize. You can't understand that piece and play it musically unless you can do that musically. not just play the chords, okay, and then take it in stages, you know, block it that way, etc. I've got a whole, that's also on one of my YouTubes. If you're interested, write to me and I'll send you the link. But I hear famous pianists who I otherwise admire for a lot of things. I mean, like, for example, should I say the name? Would that
Yes.
be Andre Watts. I mean, like I say, I want to qualify. I'm not worthy. Okay, he's great. But, I mean, I don't even know how he does it because... I mean, I don't know how he accomplishes what he accomplishes.
Right.
André Michel Schub. What I'm hearing is beautiful. I cannot look at it because it's all only from here, and he doesn't know anything else, it seems like. Rudolf Serkin's son, Peter Serkin. I have a fascinating recording of Peter Serkin having a lesson with Leonard Shore. Didn't necessarily go well. Never mind, that's a whole thing. But he looks like he's got Parkinson's in his youth, and he's doing a vibrato on every note on the piano. It's like, did anybody explain to you that that really doesn't accomplish anything whatsoever? Anyway, so I love to teach, depending on the student and the level. Let's just say things that go a little bit beyond what, I mean, I have fingerings for every single double third scale that are better than anything you'll find in a book. I have fingerings for this. Chromatic minor third scale, which is very useful because if you're ever going to play, how's it go? That G sharp minor etude. I sight rate that, by the way, in theory class. Yeah, the teacher said, come on up, and I played it slowly, but everybody was sitting there. You know, who are you? And I was like, I mean, they're just a bunch of, to me, it's like playing a C major scale.
Sure.
Not that hard.
Can I get those fingering for double third?
Absolutely. Like I said, that's what I'm putting forth. And if
What do you have?
and my terms would be this: if you can afford it, I charge a lot, but if you can't, that's okay too. Or alternatively, I'll accept payment in the form of just make a donation in literally any amount, $1 to infinity, to my Festival for Creative Pianists, which is a nonprofit that's very worthwhile. But I have very unique, isn't very unique a redundancy? Yeah, okay. Let's just say unique. Okay. You know, contrary motion, because the fingerings turn out to be parallel, both hands. And by the way, these fingerings that I've worked out, I think they're mine. They could be Gladys's. I don't know. It's all a blur. They're better than Chopin's because he penciled in his fingers into that etude. And you can get it depending on what edition. And here's the difference. He hadn't figured out yet, let's see, the slides. And the slides are different going up, of course, than coming down, right? If you think about it a minute. So he had not quite figured that out. So I'd love to go back in time and just have a little chat with good old Freddie and just say, by the way, this is really good, but you could try this. It'd probably freak him right out. And the fingerings that she gave me on the double third scales, I improved on about 2 or 3 of them. Anyway.
Amazing. That's such a lovely offer.
So, well, yeah, and I mean, we could do it as a group or individually or whatever you'd like. But I'd like to be a resource that people that, and I know I sound a little bit pretentious because here's the thing, I have just as much to learn, I'm sure. Everybody in this room, I'm sure, could teach me just as much.